which is an interesting square to put it because white can play e4 and just gain space in the center and force the knight out. However, the knight would be able to go to c3, attacking the rook. This was one of my best tournaments ever. This was round 4 of the Frederick Open, and I won coming into this round. I won all of my previous rounds, and it's me against the president of the Penn State University Chess Club, Will, and it's the game that's been faded for centuries, and I'm finally playing him. He's very, very good. 1700 is almost criminal for his rating because I just know him. I've lost to him. We played some training games. Actually, yeah, we played some training games that I posted on this channel. So very, very good player, and I was really excited to play him for the first time in a USCF rated game. He played d4, I played d5, and we both bring our knights out on the king side, and he plays c4, striking the center. I defend my center, and he plays g3, and this move makes it the Catalan. Now, I was expecting this opening. Will plays it a lot. Sometimes he plays a Queen's Gambit, just a regular Queen's Gambit, and doesn't play g3, and then other times he does. So he switches his opening up a little bit, but that being said, I was absolutely expecting him to play the Catalan against me. I take on c4, so this is what I like to do. I like to take on c4 and then strike back at the center as fast as possible. It's a very principled way to play, and it sort of makes sense. Like, if he went knight f3, I could still take on c4, but it's a bit different with a bishop being able to attack the pawn. One of the best moves, or you can even play e4 to attack the pawn. But with g3, he already committed his pawns to being carried with his bishop. So now if he plays a move like e3, it's not as good. He's got the Swiss cheese set up around his king. And if he played knight c3 instead of g3, then he could play e4. But in this case, he cannot take the extra space in the center because the e4 square has no defenders. So I like to take on c4. He plays bishop g2. I play c5. He castled, and I play knight c6. And this is all very, very normal stuff. Nothing like we probably had this position before. Not probably, almost definitely. In one of the games I played against him, I think it was a casual blitz game. He played knight e5, attacking my knight on c3, or knight on c6. I played bishop d7 to defend, and then he played knight a3, bishop e7, and knight takes e4. Like, I've seen this before. And I forget if I take on c5 and then castle. I think I probably take on c5. Probably. Yeah, probably in this position, we probably take on c5 first. Sorry, take on d4 first, and then play bishop e7. That's probably what I do. I don't know. But anyways, I've had that position before. But in this position, he took on c5, which is a little bit surprising. And in this way, white is kind of forcing trades. Like, the best thing for black to do is to trade queens here and then take on c5. And this is a very well-known position. Will plays knight bd2, developing his knight, attacking the pawn on c4. And there's no real good way to defend this pawn. If I play b5, I mean, this diagonal is so juicy. I don't even know where to start. Like, do you play knight e5? Yeah, this seems pretty reasonable. The knight's pinned. And there's no way to defend the knight 2 times because it's already attacked twice. So there's no adequate way to defend this knight. So I would just be losing. So I play c3 and attacking his knight and pawn. So I give back the pawn on my terms. So he wins his pawn back, but he has split pawns. That's kind of the idea. And this is a pretty well-known move. He plays knight b3. I have bishop b7. There's no other square for it on this diagonal. And I could play bishop b6, but that is a bit restrictive. Like, I can't move this b pawn in the future if I wanted to. Also, the d6 square is not being defended by this bishop anymore. So the bishop could go to b6, but it doesn't look nearly as good. So bishop e7 is the main move. And then he plays knight f d4. And here, I've still seen this before. I've seen this position before, so I just take. Alternatively, maybe I can play bishop d7, but it doesn't look super appealing. Like, he could maybe trade everything, and then I have my own split pawns, but maybe that's not so bad. Maybe I can attack it. Not super sure. What's good for me is that everything is all the infiltration squares are covered by my knight and bishop. But maybe he can play a move like bishop g5 to try to get his rook on d7. But then I can probably go here. Maybe it's not so simple. Maybe it's not so simple. After bishop d7, there's probably a better move for white. I'm just not sure. But in this position, I know that taking on d4 is good. And after pawn takes, I can go knight d5. Which is an interesting square to put it because white can play e4 and just gain space in the center and force the knight out. However, the knight would be able to go to c3, attacking the rook and getting into white's position a little bit. I don't even know what the best thing to do for white. I think probably rook here works. Rook e1 works, and then I'd probably develop my bishop, and I can get my rook into the game. And this knight on c3 is never getting trapped or anything. So we'll prevent the knight from going to c3 by playing bishop e2. But now I play f5. So now e4, I can just take it with the pawn. So e4 doesn't force my knight to move. So this is essentially an outpost. He plays rook ac1, putting his rook on the open file, very principled. I go bishop d6. And the idea behind that move is to just control the c7 square. I would like to go bishop d7, but I didn't like the look of bishop takes d5, pawn takes d5, and rook c7. Because right now, my knight on d5 guards the c7 square, so the rook doesn't have any infiltration squares, but he could just take and then infiltrate. And I was like, this doesn't look very good. At the bare minimum, like I guess I could go bishop c6, but then I lose this, so actually I can't play that move. So I'm really not sure what to do here. I probably just play rook f here, but then I lose this pawn. And was that really worth it? That just doesn't look good. So I'm honestly not sure if there was a better move than bishop d6. I thought it made sense, and I still think I would play it. Because that's a tough part. If black is doing just fine here as long as I solve the issue of this bishop and I finish development. If I could teleport my bishop to d7 and my rook on c8, black has no issues. Black is doing absolutely just fine. Maybe black is doing slightly better because I have a knight on d5. And if you trade off your bishop for it, then I have the bishop pair. So, black is definitely doing just fine if I finish development, for sure. So I play bishop d6, he plays e4. And his idea is that after I take, I have this isolated pawn. But the thing is, both sides have mutual weaknesses. Like this d4 pawn is isolated, this a2 pawn is isolated, and the e6 pawn can be weak, but it should be perfectly equal for both sides. That being said here, I thought for a long time, actually I think in this position, how long did I think? I thought for at least 4 minutes here, because my original thought was bishop d7 to finish development. And look at how well my bishops work together to block out his rook. It's beautiful. That's something to keep in mind, that two bishops side by side can block out a whole open file very, very well. But I was trying to evaluate knight a5. At first I was like, okay, well, b6, and then knight b7, attacking the bishop. But then I can go here. And maybe this knight is trapped, perhaps. Or maybe after knight a5, I can go bishop b4. So then after it takes, I can go here. And whatever the knight moves, like for example knight c5, I can take. And after a rook takes, then I can take this bishop on b2. So this bishop on b2 is loose in a lot of cases. So I was calculating knight a5. But I decided that because this bishop is loose on b2, I don't have to worry about it. But then he played knight c5. He played knight c5, and I was like, why did I not calculate this move? I knew this move was possible. I know how knights move, but I was like, wow, I didn't even I just thought it was fine, but I realized this knight attacks both pawns, and how am I going to defend both pawns? I probably just go bishop c8. And I can probably just play bishop c8 and then play b6, kicking out the knight. The knight can maybe go back to b3, or can maybe go to d3, and then I'm going to play like bishop b7. Like, that's what I should play. Like, I don't think he can do anything with his extra tempo. Like, how is he gonna develop his pieces more? Like, maybe he can play that. No, I don't think that's good at all. So I really should have just played bishop c8. I think that just makes the most amount of sense. That's what Will told me after the game he thought I would play. But I told Will after the game, like, no, bishop c8 is too passive. But looking at it now, I'm like, I'm just going to play b6, and I win a tempo back, and then I play bishop b7, and my life is... And I don't have a bad position at all. Which is crazy. At least from my point of view. Maybe the engine will think differently. But instead of bishop c8, I play bishop c6. Which just straight up gives up the e6 pawn. But my idea was, I'm going to play rook e8, and this bishop on e4 is loose. And if you trade your bishop for my knight, and I take back, suddenly my bishop pair is very, very strong. And actually, I just win back the pawn immediately. That's cool. So I thought, yeah, there's not much you can do. You can play knight g5 to guard your bishop, but then I'm going to play h6. And once again, you have to give up your bishop pair and move your knight back. And I'm like, oh man, bare minimum I win this pawn. Bare minimum. But the issue is I just missed the move bishop f5. To be fair, it's a game in 30 increment 5 game. So, we both got to play somewhat fast here. But I played bishop f5. Sorry, he played bishop f5. And I wasn't sure. And I just decided to attack the bishop. And then after he moved, I attack the bishop again. Because, of course, he can't move off of this diagonal because this bishop is the only thing defending the knight. So I kick his bishop around. But in this case, he induces weaknesses around my king. But what I mean by that, like, my king doesn't have any safety. My king is very, very naked. But that being said, I thought during the game, well, number one, I kind of have to just try to apply as much pressure as I can. And, like, even though I'm inducing weaknesses, I still think this is good for me. Or good enough. Because I don't really have that many options. Because if I just sit here and wait, I mean, he's up a pawn at the end of the day. So I definitely felt like I had to do something. So I play king f7, attacking the knight one more time. He defends his rook. But now I play knight b4 because I'm trying to fork all of his pieces. And I'm attacking the pawn as a bonus. So for example, if he plays a3, then this should be good for me. Like, even if he plays knight g5 check, I can play king f6. And this is still probably good for me. Probably. Now, I have to calculate this out because he can sometimes play d5 check. But in this case, I could probably just take here. He takes, I take here. That's nothing to worry about. Although in this case, after it takes, you might be able to play this check. Oh, but then I can probably take and take like this. Oh, but then he has this move. Oh my goodness. What is happening? I can play this move. Dude, king here is actually wild. But then he plays this. That doesn't look very nice. Yeah. Oh, wait. But then... Oh, wait. He can't play that move, though. Anyways. So... And I remember Will brought up an engine after the game was over. And apparently knight b4 is a horrible blunder. And it's like +3 for white. I don't exactly know why. I think it has something to do with the fact that there's the d5 check idea. And the knight can go back. It's some sort of weird combination. So let me pull up the engine here real quick. Yeah, it's +2 for white right now. Because of knight g5 check, king f6, d5 check, king takes, pawn takes, knight takes, rook takes, and bishop g7. Wait, that's not the best move. Best move is bishop g7 like this. And I guess the idea is the king is very naked. Like, is f4 a threat? Rook d8, f4. It is a threat. A checkmating net, which is actually wild. So there's things like that. That's just one variation. So instead of so after knight g5 check, I would have to go back to g8 or f8. For some reason f8 is better. 5. Bishop e6. Bishop e4. And apparently this position is so bad that I have to sacrifice my rook. So there's a lot of complications that happen because my king is so weak. And the queens are off the board, but my king is way too weak here. So that's apparently why knight b4 was a bad move. Anyway, I'm going to turn off the engine now. Oh, sorry, knight b4. Check was a bad move. Sorry, knight b4. Not knight b4 check, just knight b4. That's why knight b4 was a bad move. He plays bishop a3 with the idea that I cannot move my knight or else I'm going to lose my bishop. And if we did an exchange like this, if you count all the material at the end of the day, he's up a pawn. Which is wild. He's only up a pawn here. I thought... Apparently he said he thought I was going to play knight d3. Apparently. But I just didn't like the look of it. After knight takes here... Forgot what I didn't like. What did I not like about it? In this case, I guess you can probably just trade like this. No, this is good for me. So I'm not sure what he was... Not sure why I didn't play knight d3. The more I think about it, the more I think, I guess it probably was a good move to consider. But for whatever reason, I didn't like it. I didn't like knight d3. There's something I didn't like about it. And I turn on the engine here for a second. Apparently, yeah, knight d3, the position is about equal. It's about 0.0. But I played bishop d5 instead. And position is still about equal. Okay. So yeah, instead of moving my knight here, I just play bishop d5, attacking the knight more. I have 3 attackers on it. And he ends up making a wild series of trades that lose the game. So he takes on b4. So now my bishop's attacking his rook. Then he plays knight c7. With the idea that we are just trading pieces. So I take on e1, he takes back on e1, I take on e1, he takes on a8, and I trap his knight, and that's the game. And I'm not... And he said after the game that he missed bishop a5. When we were looking at the engine after the game, apparently not even trapping the knight, but playing bishop takes a2 is just as good, if not better, for black, which is ridiculous. But the idea is I have 2 connected pass pawns. That's the idea. But that being said, if I can trap a knight, I'm just going to trap a knight. And yeah, it's beautiful geometry here. When a bishop is 3 squares away from a knight, it controls that knight's movement very, very well. Or the knight controls the bishop's movement very, very well. It depends on your perspective on life. Tomato, tomato. Okay. So I played bishop a5, and this position is completely winning. Which is kind of crazy. He is up a pawn, but his knight's trapped. And I guess he was just calculating a way to trade all the pieces. But it turns up, like, in all those complications, he found exactly the wrong way to proceed, which, been there, done that. Happens to all of us. So he played bishop g2, because my main idea is just to play b5, like king f1, b5, and win the knight this way. So that's why he plays bishop g2, hoping that I'll trade bishops and then try to win his d4 pawn, and then he defends everything. And this is still definitely winning, but instead of that, I'd be patient. I'm patient, and I just play king e6 Because now if he takes me, now his king's not in time to guard his d4 pawn, or I can just walk backwards and his king hasn't made as much progress as he otherwise would have been. So after king e6, he plays h4, I play b5, opening up an attack on the knight, although I'm not threatening it right now, but also just getting my pawns rolling on the queen side. That's the more important part. He plays king f1, and I should probably just take this pawn and then try to push it, but instead I just traded bishops and then played king d5. He plays king up, I took his pawn, he plays king f4, and then I played bishop d8. Probably a better move than taking on d4 with the king. Probably should play bishop d8 immediately, with the idea after king f4 I can play a5 and just get my passed pawns rolling down the board, and I don't have to take this pawn at all. The pawn is not a threat. So that's probably something better I could have done. But in this case, his king has time to kind of run over. With the way I do it though, I take on d4 and I use my king to block out his king. And I play bishop d6, blocking out his king more. And like I said, I'm going to get my passed pawns rolling, and there's not much he can do. Like, his king is completely boxed out. So he plays knight c7, giving up his knight, but to get his king in to win the pawns. And he's just playing moves. Like, he knows his position is lost, but he's just playing moves. I push my pawns, and he resigns. And with that, I win my 4th game in a row. And out of my last 15 games, USCF rated games, I've won 12 of them. I've drawn 2 of them, and I lost 1 of them. And my only loss was to National Master Matthew O'Brien, a 2200 rated player. So overall, I feel pretty good. My average rating opponent has been like relatively low. Like, I think it can't be more than 1600 for my average rating of opponent. But that being said, I've had a really great tournament. I had a really great string of tournaments, and it's felt really good, especially since I've had multiple bad tournaments in a row. Like, I lost 7 games in a row. I went from low 1900s to 1858, and now I've bounced all the way back up to 1946. So I really can't complain. I've been very, very lucky in this game in particular. Will had a lot of pressure on me, and I wasn't finding the best moves, but I ended up winning that game. So maybe if I had found all the best moves, maybe it would have been a draw. But by giving Will the opportunity to win, I also gave him the opportunity to lose, which is okay by me. I live and die by that sword. So I'll end it there, and I'm gonna hit the game review, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.